Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we're diving into a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but holds an extraordinary value for those in the know, the United States 5-cent coin from 1985. You might be thinking, how could a 5-cent coin be worth anything significant? Well, stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this small piece of currency could be hiding a big treasure. Let's begin with a quick history lesson. The United States has a long history of minting coins, and the 5-cent coin, often called the nickel, is one of the most iconic. The 1985 nickel, however, is a unique example in the world of coin collecting. While most nickels from this year were produced in large quantities and circulated widely, a few rare versions were struck with certain characteristics that make them stand out in the coin market. The 1985 nickel might look the same as any other ordinary nickel, but trust me, it's far from ordinary. First, let's talk about the design of the coin. As most of you may know, the obverse, or front, of the 1985 nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson's likeness has adorned the nickel since 1938, and it's surrounded by the words, Liberty, and the date, 1985, with, In God We Trust, inscribed beneath. On the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia, which has been featured on the back of the nickel since 1938 as well. So, what makes the 1985 nickel so special? Well, the key to its value lies in its rarity and condition. Although millions of these coins were minted, most were used in everyday transactions and, over time, became worn and tarnished. But what if I told you that some of these 1985 nickels were struck with unusual minting errors or were produced with very specific variations? That's right. These minor details can make all the difference in the world when it comes to a coin's value. One of the most notable features that collectors are keen on is the presence of double dies, or minting errors. For example, some of the 1985 nickels were struck with the design slightly misaligned, causing the text and images to appear doubled or offset. This rare mistake is what gives the coin its collectible appeal. Double die coins are among the most sought after in the world, as they are considered mistakes in the minting process. These coins are one of a kind, and collectors go to great lengths to find them. Additionally, certain 1985 nickels were made with metal inconsistencies, such as being struck on incorrect planchets or having irregular thicknesses. These variations can drastically increase a coin's value, depending on their rarity and the extent of the error. But let's talk about condition. The value of a coin is largely determined by its condition, with coins in mint or uncirculated condition being the most valuable. Most 1985 nickels, being used in daily transactions, show signs of wear and have lost their sharp details. But coins that have been carefully preserved and kept in excellent condition can command much higher prices. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Now, I know what you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1985 nickel in perfect condition, or even better, a rare version with a minting error, the value could be a jaw-dropping $55,000. Yes, you heard that right, $55,000. This is the kind of money a single 5-cent coin could bring in if it's the right kind of nickel. Who would have thought that something so small and seemingly insignificant could hold such a massive value? If you've got an old jar of coins lying around, now might be the time to go through it and check for those rare 1985 nickels with minting errors or exceptional condition. You could be sitting on a small fortune. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to talk about how to properly store and protect your valuable coins. If you happen to come across one of these rare nickels, it's important to handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surface with your fingers to prevent oil and dirt from damaging the coin. It's also wise to keep your coins in protective cases or holders, ensuring they stay in mint condition for years to come. Top 2, we're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting right under your nose, or perhaps in that old jar of loose change you've had for years. We're talking about the 1972 5-cent coin from the United States. You probably think this coin is just your average nickel, right? Think again. This 1972 5-cent coin could actually be worth a small fortune, and we're here to tell you just how much. The 1972 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel, might seem like a run-of-the-mill piece of currency at first. After all, it's been in circulation for decades, featuring the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front, with Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. But, as you'll soon find out, this seemingly simple coin has more to offer than meets the eye. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, the reason why this 1972 nickel is so special. It all comes down to rarity and a very specific minting error that occurred during the production of these coins. Not every 1972 nickel is worth a fortune, but certain ones have a hidden treasure inside them. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1972 5-cent coin is the double die variety. This happens when the coin's die is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on the design. Most of the time, this error is most apparent on the date itself, where the 7 and 2 in 1972 appear to be doubled. But if you look closely, this error can also be seen on other parts of the coin, like Jefferson's portrait or even the lettering. Why does this matter? Well, coins with double die errors are extremely sought after by collectors because they are so rare. The 1972 double die nickel is one of the most famous error coins in the United States, and finding one in excellent condition is like striking gold in the world of coin collecting. The more noticeable and distinct the doubling, the higher the value. These coins are prized for their rarity, and they stand out from the regular 1972 nickels that were minted without this error. But here's where it gets even more exciting: this isn't the only error to look for in the 1972 nickel. Another variation that boosts the coin's value is related to the metal composition. In 1972, the U.S. Mint was transitioning to a new alloy mix for coins, and some of the 5-cent pieces were struck with the wrong metal composition. These metal error coins, where the nickel was mistakenly minted using a different metal mix, are also highly coveted and can fetch a significant price at auctions. Let's pause here for a second. The combination of the double die error and the potential metal errors makes the 1972 5-cent coin a true rarity. Most of these coins were circulated and spent, meaning most of them are in worn condition. But when a coin survives for decades in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, especially one with a minting error, it becomes a true treasure for collectors. These error coins are much more than just currency. They are unique pieces of history that can dramatically increase in value. So, how much are these rare 1972 nickels worth? Well, if you happen to come across one of these coins with a noticeable double die error in excellent condition, you could be looking at a price that will blow your mind. Some of these rare nickels have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auctions. The price tag for a high-quality 1972 nickel with these rare minting errors could go as high as $67,000, yes, you read that correctly, $67,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's incredible how a small, seemingly ordinary coin can hold such immense value. And it's not just about the error or rarity, it's also about the condition. A coin that's been well preserved, with minimal wear, can skyrocket in value when it hits the market. So, what should you do with this information? If you have any old nickels lying around, especially from 1972, it's time to take a closer look. You never know, you might just find that hidden gem among your collection. Whether it's the double die error or a metal mix anomaly, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And that's a wrap on today's video. We hope this deep dive into the 1972 5-cent coin has opened your eyes to the exciting world of coin collecting and the potential for hidden treasures. Top 3, we have an exciting and jaw-dropping discovery to share with you, one that might just make you look at your old coins in a completely different way. We're talking about the 1964 5-cent coin from the United States, which could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Stick with us, because by the end of this video, you'll see how this little nickel could be worth a fortune. The 1964 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel, is one of the most iconic pieces of American currency. It features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse and the image of Jefferson's estate, Monticello, on the reverse. But while the design might seem simple, the story behind this coin is anything but ordinary. You see, this particular nickel from 1964 holds a secret, an extraordinary rarity that makes it highly sought after by collectors. The 1964 nickel is part of a series that was minted just before the U.S. Mint made some significant changes to the design and composition of its coins. And while most of these nickels are still in circulation or have been tucked away in coin collections over the years, some of them have a unique quality that sets them apart from the rest. We're talking about one of the most valuable errors in coin collecting, the double die error. So what exactly is a double die error? This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a doubling effect on the design. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel is particularly known for its double die varieties, especially on the obverse side of the coin, where the date and the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1964 nickel with this error, you'll notice that certain parts of the design appear to be doubled or shifted, giving it a unique and unmistakable look, but it doesn't stop there. While the double die error is one of the most common and sought-after errors, there are other variations of the 1964 nickel that could make it even more valuable. For example, some coins were struck with an improper metal mixture, resulting in a different composition. These errors, often called metal errors, are rare and significantly increase the coin's worth to collectors. If you happen to have one of these coins, you're holding onto a true treasure. Now, let's talk about the rarity factor. Even though the 1964 nickel was minted in large quantities, finding one in perfect, uncirculated condition, especially one with a minting error, is incredibly rare. The value of these coins skyrockets based on their condition. Coins that have been well preserved and remain in excellent shape can fetch astronomical prices. Remember, rarity is the key. The fewer coins with a specific error in good condition, the more valuable they become. So, you're probably wondering, how much could this rare 1964 nickel actually be worth? Well, brace yourselves, because here comes the shocking part. If you happen to own a 1964 5-cent coin with a doubled die error or a rare metal composition flaw in near-perfect condition, it could fetch an incredible $76,000. Yes, that's right, $76,000 for a simple 5-cent coin. It's mind-blowing to think that a coin that most people would consider common or insignificant could hold such immense value. So, if you have any 1964 nickels sitting in your collection or hidden away in a jar somewhere, it's definitely worth checking them carefully. If you spot the double die error or any other minting flaws, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Top 4. We're about to reveal the fascinating story behind a seemingly ordinary coin, one that you might have sitting in your collection or even mixed in with your spare change. Yes, we're talking about the 1986 5-cent coin, or as most of us know it, the Jefferson Nickel. But here's the twist, this particular nickel could be worth a lot more than you think, $67,000, to be exact. Stick with us to find out why this coin could make you a fortune. The 1986 Jefferson Nickel is part of a long-running series that showcases the likeness of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the historic Monticello estate on the reverse. But here's the thing, this coin, though widely circulated, has a very special characteristic that makes it far more valuable than most people realize. What makes it stand out? The answer lies in the rarity of certain errors that occurred during its minting. First, let's talk about the basics. In 1986, the United States Mint produced millions of nickels, and most of them ended up in circulation. But just like any coin, not every single one is the same. Over time, certain errors can make a coin much more valuable, especially when those errors are rare and difficult to find. The 1986 nickel is known for a specific minting error called the double die variety, and it's one that collectors go wild for. If you're unfamiliar with the term double die, here's a quick explanation. This error happens when the coin's die, used to strike the design onto the coin, becomes misaligned during the minting process. As a result, the image appears to be doubled or shifted. With the 1986 5-cent coin, this error can often be spotted in the date and lettering, where you'll notice a noticeable doubling effect. The 1 in 1986 may appear more than once, or the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions can look like they've been stamped twice. This is a clear sign of a double die error. Now, why does this matter? Well, double die errors are some of the most sought-after flaws in the coin collecting world. Coins with this type of error are highly valuable because they're unique. After all, it's not every day that you find a coin with a design that's been unintentionally doubled. The more prominent the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. But there's another reason why the 1986 nickel is so highly prized: condition. The 1986 nickel, like many coins, was produced in large numbers, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rarity. Coins that have been well preserved, without signs of wear and tear, hold much greater value than those that have been passed around for decades. In fact, the better the condition of the coin, the more money it could fetch. On top of the double die error, there are also some other unique variations in the 1986 nickels that collectors look for. Some of these coins have slight differences in the metal composition or have been struck with other small minting mistakes. These tiny flaws add up to a coin's rarity and value. If you happen to stumble upon one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, here's the big question: how much could a 1986 nickel be worth if it has one of these errors and is in good condition? Well, brace yourself, because the answer will surprise you. The value of a 1986 5-cent coin with a double die error or other rare variations can easily reach an astounding $67,000. Yes, you heard that right, $67,000 for a simple 5-cent coin. Imagine finding this little treasure among your spare change. It's incredible how a small minting error can turn a coin from something you might toss aside into a collector's dream. So, if you have any 1986 nickels hanging around, it's time to take a closer look. You never know, you could be holding onto a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 5, we're talking about a coin that might just be hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your spare change or an old jar of forgotten coins. We're talking about the 1995 cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. At first glance, it may seem like just another ordinary nickel, but believe it or not, this little coin could be worth a fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how valuable this seemingly simple coin can be. Now, let's take a step back and talk about the 1990 Jefferson Nickel. It was minted during a time of economic transition in the US and, like most nickels, it featured the iconic profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the front and the image of Jefferson's estate, Monticello, on the back. These coins were produced in large numbers and spent by millions of Americans over the years, so it might be hard to imagine that one of these could be worth much more than its 5-cent face value. But here's the secret: what makes this particular coin so special are the rare minting errors that happened during its production. You see, coins are sometimes struck with flaws that can make them highly collectible and valuable, and the 1990 Jefferson Nickel is no exception. There's one particular error that collectors go absolutely crazy for: the famous double die variety. For those who may not be familiar with the term, double die occurs when a coin's die, the stamp that strikes the image onto the coin, is misaligned during the minting process, which causes the design to appear twice. You'll notice this doubling on parts of the coin, like the date, the word Liberty, and even the phrase, "In God We Trust." The doubling effect is subtle, but it's enough to make this coin stand out from the regular 1990 nickels. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, the reason why double die errors are so valuable is because they're extremely rare. When a coin is struck incorrectly like this, it's no longer just a regular coin, it's a unique piece of history. And because these errors don't happen often, a double die coin can fetch a much higher price than a standard, well-worn coin from the same year, but that's not all. In addition to the double die error, there's another factor that makes the 1990 Jefferson nickel even more valuable: its condition. While most of the 1990 nickels have been circulated and show signs of wear, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rare treat. Coins that are well preserved and free from scratches, dings, or other imperfections are much more desirable to collectors. The better the condition, the higher the value. Now, you're probably wondering, just how much could a 1990 nickel with these rare errors be worth? Well, brace yourself, because this is where things get exciting. Depending on the rarity and condition of the coin, a 1990 Jefferson nickel with a noticeable double die error can be worth an eye-popping $50,000. Yes, you heard that right, $50,000 for a simple 5-cent coin. It's hard to believe, but it's true. So, if you have any 1990 nickels lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. If you spot any doubling on the date or other parts of the design, you could be holding a coin that's worth far more than its face value. And remember, the better the condition, the more money you could get for it. Imagine finding one of these rare nickels in a jar of old coins you've forgotten about. It's an incredible feeling to realize that a small mistake in the minting process could turn a common coin into a highly valuable treasure. So, take a moment to check your collection. This could be your chance to strike gold. Top 6, we're diving into a very special find, the 2002 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. You might have a handful of these nickels tucked away in your collection or even mixed in with your loose change, but did you know that some 2002 nickels are worth far more than their 5-cent face value? In fact, one of these nickels could be worth an astonishing $43,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $43,000. Stick around to find out why this seemingly simple nickel is worth so much more and how you can spot these rare coins in your own collection. Let's start with the basics. The 2002 Jefferson nickel features the classic design that we've all come to know and love. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and on the reverse, you'll see the image of his home, Monticello. But here's the twist: while most 2002 nickels were minted without any special markings, a small number of them were struck with a rare minting error that makes them extremely valuable to collectors. This is the error that has caused so much excitement in the coin collecting community. The minting error we're talking about is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin's die, a tool used to imprint the design on the coin, is misaligned during the minting process. As a result, the design on the coin appears doubled or shifted, giving the coin a unique look. This error is most noticeable on the date and on the inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you take a close look at a 2002 nickel with this error, you'll notice that the numbers and letters appear to be duplicated or misaligned, which is a clear indicator that the coin has been struck incorrectly. Now, you might be wondering why this error is such a big deal. Well, the fact is that double die errors are among the most sought-after mistakes in the world of coin collecting. Why? Because they are incredibly rare and can't be replicated, which makes them special and valuable. Coins with this error are far more desirable than those without because they represent an accidental piece of history, a coin that was struck in a way that was never intended. This makes them stand out from the billions of other coins that were produced normally, but there's another factor that makes the 2002 nickel even more valuable: its condition. While most 2002 nickels have been in circulation for years, some of them have been carefully preserved and remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. The better the condition of a coin, the higher its value. A well-preserved coin with minimal wear, scratches, or discoloration is much more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated and damaged over time. So, if you're lucky enough to find a 2002 nickel with a double die error that's also in great shape, you could be sitting on a real treasure. Another reason why this coin is worth so much is the rarity of these errors. Even though the 2002 nickel was minted in large quantities, very few of them were struck with the double die error, and even fewer were kept in uncirculated condition. This makes them extremely rare and sought after by collectors, driving up their value even more. So, how much could a 2002 nickel with a double die error be worth? Well, depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin, the value can skyrocket. A 2002 Jefferson nickel with this error can easily be worth an eye-popping $43,000. That's right, $43,000 for a 5-cent coin. Imagine the excitement of finding one of these coins in your collection or while going through your spare change. So, here's the takeaway: if you have any 2002 nickels lying around, take a moment to inspect them closely. Look for signs of the double die error, especially around the date and the inscriptions. If you happen to find one, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than its face value. And who knows, you might just find yourself a rare treasure worth thousands of dollars. Top 7 and last rare coin for you. We're about to explore an underrated gem that could be hiding in your collection or even your spare change. We're talking about the 1994 5-cent coin, or the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that might seem ordinary at first, but has some surprising value that you'll want to hear about. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the shocking number we're about to reveal at the end of this video. So, let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1994 Jefferson Nickel and discover why it could be worth a small fortune, up to $48,000. The 1994 Jefferson Nickel has a familiar design, featuring the classic portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the front and the image of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. But here's the kicker: while most of these coins were produced in large numbers and spent over time, a small percentage of them were struck with rare minting errors that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. And these aren't just your typical everyday flaws. You'll want to keep an eye out for one of these rarities if you're looking to cash in on a potential treasure. So, what makes the 1994 nickel so special? The key lies in the rare minting errors that occurred during the production process. One of the most exciting and valuable errors to look for is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin's die, the tool used to strike the design onto the coin, gets misaligned during the minting process, causing the image to appear doubled or shifted. This creates a distinct error where the design is duplicated, particularly noticeable on the date, the words "Liberty," and the phrase "In God We Trust." Imagine looking at a 1994 nickel and seeing the date, 1994, with an extra set of numbers, or the word "Liberty" looking slightly blurred, almost as though it's been struck twice. That's a double die error in action, and it's highly coveted by collectors. The beauty of these errors is that they are unintentional and incredibly rare. When a coin is struck incorrectly like this, it's no longer just a piece of currency. It's a unique artifact that can be worth thousands of dollars. But let's take it a step further. While the double die error is already pretty exciting, there's more to the 1994 Jefferson Nickel's value. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its worth. Most of the 1994 nickels you'll come across have been in circulation, showing signs of wear and tear from being passed around in wallets and pockets for years. But a 1994 nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where the big money lies. A coin that's been carefully preserved and remains free from scratches, discoloration, or other signs of use can dramatically increase in value. The reason why these nickels in mint condition are so valuable is because they're much harder to find than their worn counterparts. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are in excellent condition, and when they come across one with a double die error, it's like finding a gold mine. That combination of rarity and condition makes the 1994 nickel a highly sought-after coin in the market. Now, let's talk about the value. As we mentioned earlier, the 1994 Jefferson Nickel with the double die error and in great condition can fetch a staggering $48,000. Yes, that's $48,000 for a single nickel. If you find one of these rare coins, it could be a life-changing discovery. So, what should you do if you think you have one of these valuable nickels? First, check for any double die errors. Inspect the date and lettering carefully, Look for any signs of doubling or misalignment. Next, assess the condition of the coin. Is it in excellent shape, free from wear? If so, you might just have a rare gem on your hands. And remember, the more error details you find, the higher the value. In conclusion, the 1994 Jefferson nickel isn't just your typical 5-cent coin, it's a piece of American history that could be worth far more than you think. Whether it's the rare double die error or the coin's mint condition, this little nickel has the potential to bring in a significant amount of money if you're lucky enough to find one. So, take a moment to check your collection, search through your loose change, and you might just be sitting on a treasure that's worth thousands of dollars. That's it for today's coin discovery. We hope you enjoyed learning about the 1994 Jefferson nickel and its impressive value. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future coin finds. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.